The Wild West was a wild place, full of coyotes, rattlesnakes, and bandits. Bandits were everywhere. They'd think nothing of bushwhacking you on the road, or even in town, or anywhere for that matter, and the gangs were the worst. Of course, mockingbirds didn't make life any easier. But there was one gang that was more feared than any other in the West. Its deeds were more shocking, more terrifying, and more damaging than any 10 gangs put together. In fact, the whole West shook whenever they heard the gang was in these parts. Not only the good guys, but the bad guys as well. There was no other gang like them. No other gang so feared or so notorious as the Lightning and Thunder Gang. They struck again and again and again. Now, Prairie City had been struck by the gang plenty. 2, maybe 3 dozen times. Anyhow, enough. The townsfolk figured it was time to put an end to it. Thunder and lightning, throw 'em in the calaboose and throw away the keys. Wanted posters were put up all over the territory. A posse was formed of the town's bravest souls. After chewing the fat for a while, they got down to business. First, they had to figure out who the gang really was, how it operated, and where it would strike next.
How are we gonna find them?
They're all such cowards, they only strike during a storm.
This is gonna be a cakewalk.
When lightning and thunder says,
They'll shake in their boots.
they're pushovers.
It was obvious the posse didn't know the first thing about lightning and thunder.
They're wimps. You fellas are playing with fire.
Far? Who said that?
It was
Far?
Mortimer Einstein Mortimer, Prairie City's local boy scientist.
Electricity, to be exact.
Electricity?
And it's dangerous, unless you know a few simple safety rules during an electrical storm.
Boy, we're gonna catch
You're
lightning
going to
and
catch
thunder.
it all right.
And boys, here's how we're gonna do it. You see, we challenge the gang to a duel on
Never
Bull Mountain.
stand on high ground during an electrical
And here's
storm.
how we're gonna
Always
do
stay
it.
low.
Of course, Mortimer was right. During a lightning and thunderstorm, the most important rule of safety is to avoid high ground. You should always stay on low ground, not under a tree, and remain crouched as low as possible. Now, the posse didn't want to listen, but they'd find out soon enough. Mortimer had also tried to tell the posse that during an electrical storm, you should immediately drop all metal objects. Fishing poles, tennis rackets, golf clubs, even take off golf shoes with cleats. Lightning is attracted to metal.
Strike one. Wait, it just got flashed.
So did we all.
What if we go down to
Always
the
stay
lake
out of the
and...
water during an electrical storm.
Mortimer was right again. You should always stay clear of water during an electrical storm. If you're in a boat, crouch down as low as possible. Get under the deck if you can, and stay away from the mast. If you're swimming, get out of the water immediately.
Oh, lightning! Yoo-hoo! Sweetie pie!
Ripped again.
I say we trick 'em into coming to the OK Saloon.
Be careful of lightning, even if you're indoors during an electrical storm.
Confound it, boy! Quiet!
Mortimer was right again. During an electrical storm, you should avoid open doors and windows, radiators, sinks and stoves, anything metal. Don't use plug-in electrical appliances, and stay off the phone. Sometimes lightning can travel right through the wires to the phone in your hand. Lightning can be dangerous, but there's nothing to be afraid of in an electrical storm if you know and follow Mortimer Einstein Mortimer's few simple rules. The posse, of course, never learned a thing. They tried again and again to catch lightning and thunder. Nothing they did seemed to work. Finally, Mortimer couldn't stand the sight of scorched ignoramuses anymore. The next time lightning and thunder showed, he flew into action. remembering to keep safely away from the danger.
You fellas ought to turn yourselves in or something. You're getting a pretty bad name around here, and I know you could clear things up in a flash.
Oops. Lightning and Thunder had to agree with Mortimer. They hadn't meant folks any harm. They realized the best thing to do was to come down and help get the facts straight. So the next time the posse set out after Lightning and Thunder, lo and behold, they got lucky. The notorious Lightning and Thunder gang.
String 'em up, yippee-yahoo! Tweak their toes!
Sit down.
Thunder,
Yikes!
Get up, you
lightning,
little pyro!
never seem to want to do the right thing. Always finding ways to be fighting. But when they come around the know, rain may fall and wind may blow, but in the gentle afterglow, you just might see a rainbow.
The trial did not go well for Lightning and Thunder. Since Lightning could not speak, and Thunder had, well, a very limited vocabulary, it soon appeared the gang's goose was cooked.
Shocking! Just shocking! I pronounce you... Wait, Your Honor.
It was Mortimer again.
You don't understand Lightning and Thunder. Them's the varmints that burned down my barn.
The crowd turned ugly. But Mortimer continued.
What Lightning and Thunder did was quite natural. And they'll do it again.
Not if we have our way. The crowd was not about to hear this kind of talk. That is, not until Mortimer flew into action.
You see, basically, lightning is a giant electrical spark. Electrical? A flow of electricity that moves between clouds, or between clouds and the earth. What's electricity got to do with any of this? Well, Your Honor, to understand lightning, you have to understand something about electricity. All matter, you, me, a barn, a tree, is made up of atoms. Atoms consist of negatively charged particles of electricity called electrons, and positively charged particles called protons. When an atom contains equal numbers of electrons and protons, it is neutral. When it adds some electrons, it becomes negatively charged. When it loses some electrons, it becomes positively charged. Clouds? What does all this have to do with clouds? Clouds, like all matter, carry an electrical charge. How do they become electrically charged? Scientists believe this results from the rise and fall of water within a cloud. A cloud is made up of billions of water droplets. As the heavier droplets fall, they split into larger and smaller drops. The larger drops become negatively charged and fall to the bottom of the cloud. The smaller drops become positively charged and are carried by air currents to the top of the cloud. Well, what's the importance of an electrically charged cloud? None, until the cloud passes close to an object with an opposite charge, like the Earth. That's when a basic rule of electricity comes into play. Opposites attract. That is, to create any flow of electricity, you need two atoms, or objects, with opposite charges, positive and negative. Atoms and all other objects with the same sort of charge repel one another. So you're saying the Earth and a cloud must be charged oppositely before any flow of electricity can happen? Yes, when the negatively charged bottom of the cloud comes close enough to the Earth, which is positively charged during an electrical storm, the spark of electricity, which we call lightning, results. Can lightning pass between the positive and negative sections of a cloud? Absolutely. Opposites attract. Will lightning always happen whenever charged clouds come near the Earth? No. Layers of air are often strong enough to insulate or act as a barrier between the positive and negative poles, thus keeping the electrical charges we call lightning from ever developing. Sounds to me like lightning was just going about its everyday business. How come lightning hit my barn, not my neighbor's? Your neighbor protected his property with a lightning rod. That's just a device for guiding the flow of electrical current safely. See how it's attached so that it's higher than the rest of the building? Travels down the side and into the ground? That's because lightning always strikes the highest positively charged object in the area. it will avoid the building, hit the metal rod, and flow harmlessly into the ground.
What about that little loudmouth? How come it scared my little girl?
It didn't mean to. Thunder's quite harmless, just loud. A lightning flash heats the surrounding air. The heated air expands and collides with the cooler air, setting up sound waves that we call thunder. It's that natural.
Mortimer summed up his case by admitting that lightning was dangerous and thunder was sometimes frightening.
Like playing with fire.
But that people who understand these natural happenings can protect themselves and their property by following a few simple rules.
Don't stand under trees on high ground.
Don't stay in the water.
Stay low during a lightning storm. Moreover, Mortimer pointed out two very good things lightning does. It causes chemical changes in the air that create nitrates. These are important to helping plants grow, so we can use them for food. Lightning also creates ozone, a gas that forms a layer high above the earth and protects us from some of the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays.
Charges dismissed.
Lightning and thunder were very pleased. The people cheered, and although they thought better of shaking hands with lightning or even slapping him on the back, lightning and thunder understood their sentiments exactly. To show there were no hard feelings, lightning and thunder that very night put on a natural display of fireworks, the likes of which Prairie City had never before seen. It goes without saying that Mortimer Einstein Mortimer was made Prairie City's weatherman. His first official act was to distribute lightning rods to everyone in town. And that, my friends, is the true tale of the case against lightning and thunder.
In your throat you feel a kind of tightening, like someone's out there doing dynamite. When I see the mighty flash, it gives me such a nasty rash. And when I hear the heavens roar, it makes me sink right to the floor. Thunder